Hi, I'm Lara Simonson from KnotEnufKnitting, and today I'm going to show you how you get started with knitting in the round. So first of all, if you're not familiar with knitting in the round, there are many reasons why you might want to knit in the round. For instance, I love my knits to be seamless, and you need to knit in the round to have seamless knits. The other thing is when you knit in the round, you're always working on the right side of a garment. You're never going to be working on the wrong side. And if you knit straight, you'll have to work on the right side and then the wrong side. So this is an example of knitting in the round. It's a hat. As you can tell, it's completely seamless. And you start from the bottom and you work your way up. And then I have a few other things to show you here about knitting the round. Here's a sweater. This is also knit in the round, and you can tell if you look at it, there's no seams on the side. You just knit straight across. And that's what I really like, and I like the look of it. And this is actually a raglan sweater, so you start at the top and then you work your way down. And these seams are also knit in the round, so they're also seamless. Another thing I have to show you here is this is a cowl or a scarf. It's all one piece. You have no seam, so it doesn't matter which way you wear it. And the design is quite easy. You just do a lot of knits and a few purls. And then this poncho too is another example. I just wanted to show you a few things that you could do this in straights, but it's just the way it works out. It's very pretty without a seam on the edge. Okay, so to get started for knitting in the round, you need, of course, circular needles. These are a little bit different than your other needles as they are joined with a wire, or this is just like a plastic tube. And you can get many different sizes. These sizes are the ones I would use to knit a hat because they're quite small. And the circumference of a hat would be when you would need the small ones. But if I was knitting something bigger, I would need longer needles just to make it a lot easier to knit. Okay, so when you start knitting in the round, I have some yarn here. I have to find here's the end. And you basically do the same thing as if you were knitting straight. You would cast on as many stitches as the pattern requires. So I just do a fairly simple cast on. It's called knitting on. And you make your stitches. So whatever number your pattern says, you will cast on. Okay, so once you have all of your stitches cast on, then you want to evenly spread your stitches along the needle to make it easier. And then if you notice right now, your working yarn is in your left hand. We need to switch it to your right, so you need to switch your needles. So now our yarn is in your right hand. Okay, so now the biggest thing for working in the round is to make sure that this yarn your stitches don't get twisted over. For instance, you don't want something like this happening where there's a twist in it. It's on this side. See? There's a twist right there, and if we have that twist in, it's not going to work. And you're going to have to start all over again. So you want to make sure your edge is all on the inside, all the way around. Okay, so there it is. And I need to get a little bit more yarn to start here. Okay, so here we go. So there's two ways of doing this. Some people like to actually cast on an extra stitch, but I just like to do the same amount of stitches, and you start knitting. So if depends what your pattern is. So let's pretend that this is just straight knit. So we would just start knitting. Okay, so I've knit one complete round. You call them rounds instead of rows because we're knitting in the round. And at the end here, so normally I will just keep on going on to my next round. And you just keep working on the right side. Some people, however, find that there's a little bit of a gap between the first and the second round. So what they will do, I'll just demonstrate this here as well. So I'll go back, take these stitches off. What they will do, it's a little bit tight right now. Sometimes the first row can be a little bit tight depending on how many stitches you are casting on. So what they would do is they would actually, when they did their cast on, they would have cast on one extra stitch. I need to go back one more here. So say if the pattern called for 86 stitches, they would have cast on 87. So you see when they get to they'll do their first round in whatever they need to do till they get to when there's one more left. Then they will knit these two together, the first and the last, like this. And then it's a little bit of a tighter join there. So you can do that as well. But remember, if you do it that way, you need to cast on one extra stitch. Otherwise, you'll be less one stitch on your round. Okay, so once you've done that, that's a tricky part, and then you just keep going. You just keep working your pattern round by round. And it's very slick. I love working with circular needles, and I love working in the round, especially because I love seamless knits.